I am Liffey and welcome to another planty video. I'm coming to you today from the cave in the corner of the room with Misty, as per usual. She seems to like this filming spot. But I thought it was time for another in the Art Meets Plant series. We're taking a detour. We're not looking at something specific, but this is an incredibly requested thing. So today we have a list of pink plants. Pink seems to be an incredibly popular colour when it comes to plants, and I realise that I too am very into pink plants. So I've tried to put together a relatively concise list, but I feel like it could be longer than some of the other ones that I've done so far. So I'm not going to go into too much depth about each plant, just to try and keep this a relatively decent length, but I wanted to get as many pink plants in here as possible. Obviously, I have missed some off of the list. If you know some that I've missed, please put them in the comments below. I'm always hunting for pink plants. Without further ado, let us get onto the list. I have my handy tablet with me, just so I can see what it is that I'm actually talking about. But let's get cracking. The first on the list is the Stramanthe sanguinea trio star. I think that's its actual name, or tricolour I think it's also known as. I think this is a relatively well-known plant when it comes to pink plants, but rightfully so. It's absolutely spectacular. It's got sort of like oblong shaped leaves, I guess you would describe, with a hot pink underside and then kind of like pink slashes throughout the leaves. It's really, really pretty. I used to have one of these. This was before I got my humidifier and I just wasn't providing it a humid enough environment, so it got really, really crispy, and then I got bleak with it, so then I basically just let it die. I planted it outside. It's got a few leaves left, but it's not doing great. So I would show you one, but it wouldn't be pink, it's brown. Sorry, I'm a terrible plant parent when it comes to things like that. It's from the Marantaceae family, so it does the whole up-downy thing, which I find incredibly appealing. But yeah, it's really, really beautiful, and it has that irregular kind of slash of pink and cream and green on the leaves. So it's a really, really striking plant. So I'd say if you can give it the right environment, get one. They're beautiful. So next on the list is Ficus petiolaris. Such a cool plant. I think these are from Mexico, but the pink veining on these is kind of why I wanted to show you them. The pink is pretty pink from the looks of things. I believe that these are mostly sold as caudiciform bonsai. Well, obviously nothing's going to be a bonsai unless you turn it into a bonsai, but they're used predominantly for bonsai. I could be wrong there. I've never seen them here, but they're so pretty. That hot pink veining is... I don't have to turn this thing on silent. I'm terrible with technology. I don't think you can get them here. I'm sure you can. I'm just not very good at finding plants, if I'm 100% honest. But it's really, really pretty. So if you're looking for something a little bit different with maybe some more subtle pink, I would say that this ficus would be an excellent choice for you if you can find it. And you can plant them outside as well, which is super handy. Next on the list, for obvious reasons, is the Philodendron Eurubescens Pink Princess, or the Philodendron Pink Princess. I've just chopped my one up, so I'm going to obviously put a photo up as well, but I'll show you the one that I've just chopped up, because mine was basically reverted. And then this leaf started to unfurl. And I got a bit over enthusiastic and I just chopped it off immediately at the node. The water's really gross because I put a whole bunch of like natural fertilizers in there. It's a horrible colour. But look at this leaf. It went from just having like tiny, tiny flecks, I mean you can't even see those flecks, to that. Just because I changed what light conditions it was in. I moved it to incredibly high light. And since moving it from, I would say, pretty bright indirect light to very bright indirect light, that's what's happened. So I'm incredibly excited. So I thought I'm gonna prop this immediately and turn it into a new plant. Anyway, Philodendron Pink Princess, what can we tell you about this? It's a climbing aroid, so give it a pole and it'll be super happy. I put mine on a pole as soon as I did it, just grew insanely quickly. I guess it's also so popular because of the beautiful contrast. So when you put it in bright indirect light, the pink will go really, really pink. So the pink that I just showed you, as opposed to like this kind of subtle pink. But the contrast of the really dark green of the leaves with that pink is beautiful. So, I mean, it's obvious why it's popular. I know people think that it's overrated, and it probably is. I don't think it's worth as much as it's being sold for, but it's a really beautiful plant. I think the problem with these is the tendency for them to revert so easily, and that makes them a little bit disappointing, but I think if you can crack it, then you'll be happy. And as soon as you can get it to that point, I would just chop it like I've done, and then you should theoretically continue to have a more pink plant. Next on my list is an Aglaonema. So I have this Aglaonema to show you, which I believe is called Aglaonema Madonna, but I realise that this is very, very small, but it is cute. I love this plant, and it's really, really pink. It's really pretty. But the one that I wanted to show you is called the Aglaonema Pink Anyamani. Doesn't look like this. Looks like this. That is proper pink. I wanted to put this on because it is incredibly pink, but also because Aglaonema are so easy to care for. You can get away with putting these in a really shady, well, not really that strong, in a more shady, less indirect light. They're more forgiving. This guy just lives like in my bookshelf, basically. He needs a water. Look how curly his leaves are. And it's just super low maintenance and maintains its pink colour. So yeah, super pink, and it's an Aglaonema. That means it's really easy. I'm so bad with names today. I think my lockdown brain is really like kicked in now. So next on the list is Tradescantia spadacea variegata, and these guys are really, really pretty. So I'd say these are probably better for outside, but they have this really, really pretty blush pink that's a bit more subtle. It's not going to like smack you in the face with pink, but it's still really, really pretty. And I think they're also a relatively easy plant. If it's anything like other Tradescantias, then it's pretty easy to look after, pretty easy to propagate, and bring some beautiful colour to areas of your garden or your house that maybe have less light. That's what I use my ones for. I don't have this particular variety. Oh, Misty. But don't chew the cable. Misty's life is basically just about chewing cables. But yeah, pretty pink and should be relatively easy to care for. Next on the list are two Calatheas. The first is the Calathea rosopicta rosy, and then the second is the Calathea rosopicta dotty. So going back to the rosy, this guy's from Brazil and is super hot pink. It's like, I would say it's a similar kind of feel to that Aglaonema that I showed you, but these are really handy. Calathea are also non-toxic, so if you are pet people and your pets can reach your plants, Calathea are great. They're not toxic at all. I keep almost all of my plants away from where the cats can reach them. Rosie doesn't care, but Misty's a little bit of a chewer. So yeah, if you have chewy pets, Calathea are good for you. So this Rosea picta is proper pink. It's just basically full of pink. It's incredible. And yeah, lowish light plants. They need quite high humidity to stay happy, but yeah, relatively easy. You'll know if you're overwatering them as well because they'll get like brown marks on the leaves. And again, same for the dotty. So I believe it's also from South America. Can also be in low shade. This one has more sort of like feathering. So I guess the rosy is better if you just sort of want like a pink, and the dotty is more if you're into pattern, I guess. Pink pattern versus just like solid pink. So those are two nice options for you if you're into Calathea and you like pink. Next on the list is the Ficus elastica ruby, a beautiful plant and super easy to care for as well in my house anyway. I don't know if it's for everyone. I say like easy or not easy, but like that's for me, obviously. These are super cool. Apparently these are from India. I didn't know that. This says they're from India, Burma, China, Malaysia, and Indonesia. So that's quite cool. I didn't know that. So the ruby is really cool because the new leaves that come up are incredibly pink, and they do sort of fade down to a more gentle pink, but you get that hot pink new leaf, which is great, but it does actually maintain the pink throughout growth, which is really, really nice. They like sun. They do well in bright light, and they'll get pinker the brighter the light they're in. But yeah, you should be, I don't know what Misty's doing, she's got this crazy look in her eye. They're happier in a more humid environment, but I found them pretty low maintenance, to be honest. So if you want something pink and easy that's going to grow quite large and dramatic because they branch out really easily, then I would say this Ficus elastica ruby is for you. Isn't it, Misty? I foresee this going badly. So next on the list is this guy, the Syngodium podophyllum neon robusta. This plant's just absolutely smashing. You can tell it desperately needs to be repotted, but again, I like it in this pot, so I'm basically just abusing it at this point and just leaving it in that pot. So pink, so beautiful, and so easy to care for. It's my three favourite things. I can't really tell you anything specific about this plant other than they're relatively forgiving. You just sort of need to make sure that you're giving them enough water, but they kind of tell you when they need a watering. They're a vining plant, so you'll see that they'll start to sort of trail a bit. You can just chop those up with a node and propagate into a new plant if you want to keep it bushier. I've been doing that quite a lot with this guy just because it grows so quickly and it's getting a little bit big for the space that I'm keeping it in, so I just keep on like chopping bits off and propagating. But super easy plant. If you can get your hands on one of these, I would say do it. This plant's been incredibly rewarding, and it's just beautiful, and it grows like an absolute champ and is so pink. This is not really in very bright light. I would say this is in medium light and is staying pretty pink. Cool. Next on the list is a caladium. So this is Caladium Elise. And there are lots of pink caladiums, and I think this is the right name for this one. I could be wrong. I don't really know very much about caladiums, but this one seemed very pretty and had the same contrast as the Pink Princess does, with the super dark green with the pink. Really pretty. Caladium do better outside in bright light. I think there's a tendency for people to believe that they should be like hidden in a corner somewhere inside, but they do really well in brighter light outside. So that's something to keep in mind. They're bulbs, so they'll go dormant as well, but just make sure that you're giving it enough water and it should be pretty happy. Next one is the Calissia rosata. These are beautiful little guys as well. I think it's also called the Pink Lady. It's apparently incredibly low maintenance, which thank you very much. And there's these teeny tiny little pink leaves, which are lovely, pink and cream with little stripes in the middle, which is really, really pretty. It's quite nice to see actually plants with smaller leaves with the pink, because a lot of these, in fact all of these so far, have been relatively large-leaved plants. So it's quite nice to see. This is really cute, and it's semi-succulent as well, so it means that it's water-wise, which is always nice. So you just let it dry out between waterings, not crazy, like not critical dryness, but you should be good with it. Next on the list is Oxalis Plum Crazy. This is a bonkers little oxalis. It looks like variegated pink oxalis, basically. It's really, really cool. Apparently has yellow flowers as well, which I find very appealing. It's described as petite and dense foliage, which is really, really nice. I guess you could grow this as an indoor or an outdoor plant. Should be good for shade in the outside garden, actually, which could be pretty cool. So maybe I'm gonna put that on my list, because our shade beds are just really boring. Another on the list, something completely different. I've tried to put as many different genus in here as possible. So this is a peperomia. This is Peperomia closifolia. Closifolia. Has these amazing pink margins around the edge of the leaves, and they get more pink, I think, the more bright the more bright sun they get. Bright indirect sun. These are really cool leaves as well, and they're super succulent. So again, it means that it's a relatively water-wise plant, and you just do the Nick Pileggi taco test where you squeeze. Outside the door, where you kind of like gently pinch the leaves together, and if it folds in on itself like a taco, then you know it needs watering, and if it resists, then you know you don't need to water. Such a great test. But yeah, these are really pretty, really striking, and I've seen these grow quite large as well, which is pretty cool. Here's another Aglaonema. This is Aglaonema Valentine. Looks pretty similar, I would say, to this Madonna, but perhaps with a bit more pink in it. I think it's also called the Red Valentine, but I think that's pink. So that's why it's on the pink list. But again, same thing, easy to care for, relatively low light plant that has some pretty striking foliage and then gets quite big. So win-win all round. This is the Crassula pellucida subspecies marginalis marginalis variegata. I butchered that name. Crassula pellucida subspecies marginalis variegata. I think it's also known as calico kitten. Such a lovely little succulent. So if you're into succulents, this one's a great one for you. So again, I will put a little video or a picture or something of the one that we have in our garden. It's tiny, but it's really pink. I've got it in full sun, and it's just gone bonkers pink. So yeah, if you're into succulents, this guy's pink. We're getting there. This one is Hypoestes philostachya, which is apparently the real name for a polka dot plant. Who knew? I didn't know that it was a Philostachya. These guys I find them quite finicky. They're quite water needy. I find if I don't water mine basically like every day or every second day, they just go, ugh, which to me is far too needy. But they're incredibly pink. They're an incredibly popular plant, and they have a short lifespan as well. My ones I've had for a few seasons. They grow in the garden, but I think they go through dormant phase, and then I think sometimes they might come out of that dormancy. Not entirely sure, but that is something to keep in mind if you're getting one of these. I think they're quite dramatic, but they are very, very pink. Oh, this next guy is amazing. This is a Mednilla Gregori Hambali Vibrant. Look at it. So this guy is from Papua New Guinea. It is incredible. I've not seen this Mednilla before. I love Mednillas. I had not found this one. So there are lots of other Mednillas like the Magnifica and stuff, but I wanted to show you this one because of the incredible colour on the undersides of the leaves and the fact that the flowers actually form up the stem. it's incredible. It's basically just like all pink. So Magnilla's epiphytes as well. So you just keep that in mind when you're growing them. So you sort of, I would say, grow them similar to how you would possibly even like a platycerum or a staghorn fern or even an orchid. Because they're not fully epiphytes, they're semi-epiphytic. So you can sort of put them in a really porous potting mix and then let them really dry out between waterings. But I need this plant. It's beautiful. Oh my goodness. Like look at the flowers growing up the stem. It's incredible. And the leaves are beautiful. They look a bit like a purple passion, but just chunkier and pinker. And I am all about it. Next on the list, and we're getting there now, we're nearly at the end. So this is Apicia Pink Dreams. So Apicia are from the Gesneriad family, which is the same family as African violets. So I think you basically care for them exactly the same. But these are both pink and fuzzy, is all I'm saying. This one in particular, there's quite a few pink Apicia from what I could find, but I like the look of this one, mostly because it also had pink flowers. Pink on pink on pink. They're from Central and South America, and yeah, I think they're also called flame or trailing violets. I think they need quite high humidity and warmth to stay happy. Exactly, Misty. So I would keep that in mind. Perhaps they'd be better suited to a terrarium situation, but they're really pretty. If you're looking for something for your outside garden, then Cordyline Pink Passion or Cordyline Australis Pink Passion, I think, would be another really good one. These are a really beautiful structural plant that are great for full sun in a garden. I don't know if they'd be so good for inside, but you could give it a try, I guess. But an amazing pink outside plant. So the last on the list is an old faithful. It's Anthurium andreanum. Andreanum. Oh, Misty. She's sitting on my knee. It's making it feel funny. I think everybody's seen these. These are relatively common, but the pink variety is just beautiful. So if you're not looking to drop an absolute buttload of cash on something and you want something pink, then I would suggest one of these. These Anthurium are easy to care for. The flowers are not actually flowers, they're the spathes. So the colourful bit is the spathe, and then the actual flowers are on the little white, well, sort of bit like spadexy bit in the middle, and those are covered in those tiny little true flowers. Isn't that right, Misty? I don't know what she's doing, but she's so cute. So if you're looking for something low cost, easy to look after, and that's never going to let you down, and that's pink, this Anthurium is definitely a go-to for me. And with that, my friends, that is our pink plant list. I've obviously missed lots off, but I wanted to kind of give you a scope of plants that weren't all from the same genus, to kind of give you options. There's so many beautiful pink plants out there, so yeah. I hope that this was helpful and that you maybe saw something that you didn't know about before, or that you have, and you can maybe send me a picture of on Instagram. I would love to see them. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, you can find me at leafy.greenfingers while Misty slowly chews the cable to my microphone. Or art stuff at Liffey Joy. I'm not going to say no, but Leafy Greenfingers is my plant Instagram. I hope you found this helpful. I'll be coming back with more in the Art Meets Plants series. I don't know when. They'll happen though. But until then, stay safe. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to subscribe to the channel, that would be amazing. But until then, I will see you guys next time for another planty video. Bye guys. Bye from Misty.